live at Lagos City Club Surulere in Lagos State, Nigeria on this day, the 16th of March 2023, to participate in the Peace for Free lecture series for the Southwest Geopolitical Zone in Nigeria. With the theme, Sustainable Peace Beyond Elections. Peace for Free is a civil society group that is committed in promoting unconditional peace for national cohesion and development in Nigeria. My name is Vicky Mark and I'm reporting for DMI TV. Okay, so what's your advice for our fellow youth out there regarding this?
Yeah, please let them embrace peace. All of this is an event. The election, the whole process, let them not get carried away by the waves. Let people not use them and dump them. The most important thing is their future, and you can't achieve anything in a charged environment. So I think peace is extremely important.
Not to engage in any violent acts and just try as much as possible to keep the society, be calm and peaceful.
Yes, we need peace in Nigeria, especially this particular period we are in Nigeria.
It is very pertinent because of the political situation we have on ground, the elections and all. There's a lot of emotions are wild. People are tensed up. There's a lot of agitations from different sectors that are bringing in a lot of political issues, religious issues and all. So there's a lot of rancor in the land. So we need this kind of lectures and insightful meetings, symposiums for people to be able to understand that we have just one Nigeria.
The youth, they need programs like this so that they will learn that they don't need violence, so that they can preach to other colleagues that we need peace in our country.
The takeaway from the Peace for Free lecture series that we are embarking upon is to see that people understand that this is a democratic process. People have gone out to exercise their franchise. And at the end of the day, well, whatever happened, the results were collated and a winner was announced. Fine. It might not go down well with a lot of people. It is normal in democratic setup. Even in the US, it happens everywhere. But the level of maturity to be able to handle it is what we are preaching. Let us handle it so that we can still live as Nigerians. And we should trust the process, the court, to be able to dispense justice. No matter how bad it is, I believe that there is still so much good to be taken away from Nigeria.
I think, like every other loser, I think every person who is aggrieved in an electoral process should seek redress in the court of law. Democracy is a process, and elections themselves are also a process. The process of election does not end with the declaration of results. The courts are there to take care of any grievances that may arise out of the election. So I believe that the youth should be patient, they should be calm and wait to see what the courts will say, irrespective of whatever grievances that they take to court. They should not be tempted to take the laws into their hands going forward. They should maintain peace, which is what we are preaching, and allow the court to run the process through.
There is no doubt that this year's elections so far have generated a lot of public attention, particularly from Nigerian youths, who are remarkably increasing their political participation in our collective struggle for good governance, unlike other times in the past. The Peace for Free initiative is committed to the ideal of fostering peace across Nigeria. This is why we are spreading the gospel of peace through this new national advocacy project being launched today here in Lagos State. We are therefore to receive for our collective commitment to unconditional peace in Nigeria, regardless of what happens now and beyond.
For each and every one of us that participated in the election, there was an expectation. We did not just participate. We participated because we wanted a better life for ourselves, for our families, and for our communities. This was the reason that we took up participation in the electoral process. And all that we wanted out of the elections, there is no way we could achieve any in an atmosphere that was violent. We could only achieve all of that if we were peaceful, or if we are peaceful. And if we continue to maintain the peace, then those things that we desire, that will be a better life for ourselves, will come to pass. This is the message that we want to share with young people here. I would not come here and tell you what peace is. I would rather want us to discuss and see the reason why peace should be at the center stage of any discussion or any conversation that we are having before, during, and after an election. If you think you have an idea to share with us what peace means to you, or what you understand by peace, you could just indicate with the raise of your hand, and the microphone will be passed over to you.
Peace is a state of harmony when you are in good terms with your neighbors, people around you. Definitely there might be arguments, but such arguments are constructive ones, that you get something out of, not the ones that will generate into or rancor.
Peace to me means a state of serenity, quietness, where there is no disruption or interference, where everything is just good.
Thank you.
Peace means, people have the freedom to express themselves, especially at this political time. People can make their choices without being threatened, without being bullied, without being, negatively influenced. They can make their choice from their conscience. We have our differences, and then we have our opinions. So we need to learn how to tolerate our differences, to understand our differences. That's the only way we can move forward. We need to understand that this person won't want this or won't want that, and we need to respect that.
For us, we have looked at peace, we've looked at the importance of peace, right? So now, I want us to look at the next level of how to engender a peaceful society.
I think it's more about their rights. They feel their rights is being denied and injustice. When you feel that way, then it takes away humanity from you.
Lack of love also bring misunderstanding, also bring stability in our environment.
The key thing that I take away from all the comments that have been made is lack of social inclusion. People want to have a sense of belonging wherever they find themselves. So for us, we'll continue to preach the message of peace to allow democracy to thrive, even though it may have its teething problems, but as it evolves, we will improve and get better. Having noted what peace is, having also observed the threats to peace, what are your recommendations? What are your thoughts? What do you think we should do so that we can have peace that endures in our country?
Tolerance, irrespective of religion, ethnicity, or wherever we come from.
Teaching myself, let's say an Hausa person, how to speak this person's language, how to understand this person's religion.
Remember that what each and every one of us want when we went to vote was for good governance. So we should give the democratic process a chance to evolve. And we have said there are avenues for us to seek redress, to talk to ourselves. If we feel that this thing did not happen the way I want, there are ways in which you can seek redress. You can go to and demand that this thing should be done differently, or they should be investigated, and if you are right, that will be so. But to take up arms, to rise on the street and begin to destroy other people's livelihoods in the name of violence is not the way to go. And our conviction this afternoon, having had this conversation with each and every one of us, I am convinced that as we live here, automatically I can see your Peace for Free t-shirts. So you have become peace ambassadors for this project. So that you yourselves will carry the message of peace everywhere you go. We are one as Nigerians, and we must continue to remain so as Nigerians.
Well, thank you for your resounding lecture. I want to ask, at what point do we draw the line of in terms of being peaceful?
We have civilized ways of even expressing our grievances. I'm happy you mentioned that we can have peaceful demonstrations that will draw government attention to any particular issue that we are aggrieved about. And with that, we may push the hand of government to do that which may be considered in the overall best interest of the citizens. That is one way to do it.
The adults, how do we get across to them, like giving them this same education on this peace matter?
I'm happy to let you know that one of such initiatives is the one we're having here. That is one way we can reach to our mothers, our uncles, and they are also here. I think if you turn around, you can see some of them here. This is one way we can reach them. As we continue to engage along these lines, we will strengthen this message. Thank you.
Sir, how was the event and what's your take home?
Yeah, I have a lot of take home from here. I am very, very elated and happy to be part of this lecture. I must confess that when I heard about it, I have to fly in from Coventry, United Kingdom, to be part of this lecture because I know there are a lot to learn and also love to make my contribution, which I've done too. So I'm quite happy to be here.
It is important for us to recognize the fact that we cannot afford not to live in harmony amongst ourselves, right? That is very, very important. That is the most important part, right? We should go away from tribal, religious stereotypes, biases that we have and know that we are one. And if there is no peace, there can be progress. That's the most important takeaway.